Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm doing an unboxing review of the Tamron 18-300mm f/35-6.3 Di3 AVC VXD lens for the Fujifilm X mount. So let's get this box opened up here and see what we have inside. First of all, we have our registration card. And then we have our owner's manual. And then let's pull the lens itself out of here. Alright. And we have a little bag here with the actual lens in it. Now this here is the actual Tamron 18-300mm lens. It's a very nice lens, very well made. It sells for $5.99, so the price isn't too bad. Now, I know most people are thinking, well, Fujifilm has their own 70-300mm lens, and it's a fantastic lens, but it's a much more expensive option. Now, the reason why I wanted to go with the Tamron is because it goes from 18mm to 300mm, so you can use it for landscapes as well as telephoto use. So with 18 to 300, that's the equivalent of 27 to 450 millimeters in full frame equivalent field of view. So it does not have an aperture ring, which is a little bit of a bummer. I wish it did. It has an excellent focus ring and the telephoto zoom ring, and it even has a lock switch so that the lens doesn't creep if you're wearing it on your hip like I do with my Spider Pro holster system. You don't have to worry about it creeping. And it is an extending telephoto lens, as you can see here, but it's not, everything's nice and tight, and it's very well constructed. Considering it's mostly plastic, it is very well constructed. Now, the maximum aperture is f3.5, and then the minimum is 6.3 on the long end, and it is capable of f22 to f40 minimum aperture at the maximum side. Lens mount, of course, is Fujifilm X. It is an APS-C format lens, so not really good to use on a full frame camera. Fujifilm doesn't make full frame cameras anyways. The angle of view is 77 degrees at 24 feet to 5 degrees at 30 feet. The tilt shift is not, it is not a tilt shift lens, of course. Minimum focusing distance is 5.9 inches or 15 centimeters. Now it has 19 elements in 5 groups, and the diaphragm blades are 7 and rounded, and it is a fully autofocused lens. It does have image stabilization. It has a 67mm front lens element for the filter size, 67 millimeters, and the dimensions are 3 by 5 inches or 75.5 by 125.8 millimeters, and the weight is 21.9 ounces or 620 grams. This is a very good lens. I have actually really enjoyed it since I bought it. I haven't used it a whole lot yet, just because the weather's been really poor here in the Roxboro area now that we're into the winter months, but we got lucky, and today, New Year's Day, Happy New Year's, it's actually getting up to close to 70 today, which is a really nice treat for those of us that live in this area. And it's one of the reasons why I moved south to begin with, to get away from the nasty weather back home in Pennsylvania. All right, so now we're gonna take this lens out and we're gonna do some test shooting with it and see what kind of results we get. And of course, as always, I will share the sample images in this video. All right, so here we are in Uptown Roxboro, and I'm testing out the Tamron 18-300 for the Fujifilm X mount. And I'm standing here by the Roxboro Farmers Market Pavilion. And let's see if we can get some shots here. Now, I'm using a GoPro necklace that I recently found out about, courtesy of Susie at Gemini Connect. So thank you to Susie, and a shout out to her for making me aware of this necklace mount for the GoPro, which allows you to do POV video. So let's get us a shot here of this pavilion. We'll take another one because I'm trying to get a shot that's free of any moving cars in the background, just to eliminate distractions. All right, come on, car, get out of the frame. Ah, great, and of course another 2 come up into frame. And yet a third one, it figures. I can't win for losing. Maybe if I shoot over here at an angle, I can get a cleaner shot, maybe. instead of shooting it straight on. But no, then of course another car has to come out the side street. All right, so let's try this again. Okay, we got a automobile free shot, beautiful. And then, like I said, this is the area that's known as Uptown Roxboro. It's kind of interesting because this is the original part of Roxboro, North Carolina. And in most towns, if the town builds up along a state or county highway, like a lot of Roxboro did along 501, then they usually call the old part of town downtown. But in this case, they call it Uptown, and the new expansions of Roxboro along 501 are referred to as downtown Roxboro. So we're going to get another shot of this building here, the Reverend Tom Holtzclaw Memorial Woodshed. And you can see there's a tree there that probably came down in a storm that somebody's chopped up to make it a little more manageable. So let me, we're going to take a walk over here and see what we can find. I do see a playground over here that's really colorful, and I love anything with really bright, vibrant colors that I can photograph. So let's get a little bit closer to it. We do have a 450mm full frame equivalent zoom with this lens, so I don't have to get right on top of it, but I would like to at least get a shot that's not obstructed by that one lone tree there on the front side of this little playground. That way I can catch more of the playground and its vibrant colors, you know, just in a test shot with this lens. There we go. So we got a nice clean shot, and I can of course zoom in and get past the tree completely and get a nice shot. And of course, like I said earlier, I'm going to share all of these stills in the finished YouTube video when I finish editing it, so you'll be able to see them all for yourself. Okay, so now we're along Main Street here in Roxboro in the downtown portion along 501 here. And I'm going to see if I can get me a clean shot of that abandoned garage across the way there. Let me get zoomed in here, see what we can get. Got a nice clean shot at about 100mm, which is really good. And it's a nice clean clear shot, so you'll be able to see that of course in the video once I add it in. You'll be able to see how it turned out for yourself. Okay, so if you followed my work and my photography or this channel for any amount of time, you know that I don't shy away from shooting unusual objects. And so right here today along Bowman Town Road, which is the road Tina and I live on, I found this heavy equipment that's parked here. So we're going to go ahead and shoot it with the Tamron 18-300 and see what kind of images we can get. So I'm going to zoom in nice and tight on this first tractor here. This is all equipment that's owned by Turner Asphalt, as you can see on the signs on the vehicles. I'm not sure what this second one is behind the tractor, but it's kind of cool and unusual looking, so you know what the heck. We'll get a shot of it. And they got a steamroller there. We can zoom in a little bit tighter to get the other item out of the shot. And then of course we have this fourth piece of equipment sitting over here in the brush. And we can get a shot of that as well. Alright, so now I'm going to have to zoom back out a little bit to get it all in the frame as much as possible. I'm going to have to shoot it at an angle because the steamroller is sitting kind of close to it. So I want to get this piece of equipment entirely in the frame without including the steamroller itself. Alright, so there we go. So we've gotten some really good images. It's unusual stuff. Like I said, I like to shoot unusual things. You know, some people like to just shoot conventional stuff. I like to shoot just anything that catches my eye. And of course, like I said before, I'll include all these stills in the video so that you can see them for yourself at full size. All right, so right now I am on the concrete bridge that passes over Mayo Lake, and I apologize, there's a motorcycle coming up behind me. And I'm going to give this lens a shot at its maximum 450 millimeters, 300 millimeters crop, which is 450 millimeters in full frame equivalent. And we got a boat out there on the lake in the distance there, and I'm working on getting zoomed in on him there. Okay, we got a shot of him. And now we'll take a shot of the power plant, the Duke power plant on the back side of the lake here. You can see it's a fairly large facility. So we got a shot of that. And so that's going to pretty much wrap up this review of the Tamron 18-300 lens for the Fujifilm X mount. So there you have my review of the Tamron 18-300mm lens for the X mount. Now, is it a flawless lens? Absolutely not. I'm not going to blow smoke up your butt. Is it a darn good lens for $600? Abso-freaking-lutely. You've got 18 millimeters all the way up to 300 millimeters, which again is 27 millimeters to 450 millimeters in full frame equivalent field of view. The other nice thing about this lens, even though it doesn't have a super wide maximum aperture, especially once you get down to the telephoto end, is it is a lens that you could also use to do portraits, because it can cover 50 millimeters, it can cover 85 millimeters, it can cover 105 millimeters, and it can cover 135 millimeters, which are the four most popular portrait focal lengths. Now, being that it does go as wide as it does on the back end at 18 millimeters, you can also use it for street photography, which, as you know, is one of my favorite genres of photography. So it does at 18 millimeters, which is 27 millimeters full frame equivalent. You can turn the dial a little bit and get it to 23 millimeters, which is 35 millimeters full frame equivalent, and you got the perfect focal length for doing street photography. And on that end, you're going to get more of the 3.5 aperture instead of the 6.3 you do at the far end of this lens. Now, I'm not set up to do all of the super technical image quality stuff that other YouTube channels can do, so I'll leave that to them. I'll share a link down below to the video review on this lens from Chris Nichols and Jordan Drake from DP Review TV. I'll put the link for their video review of this in the description down below, so you can check their video out for yourself, where they're able to do sample images with their test cards, and they can show you how good the contrast is in the center and out to the corners, and how good the sharpness is of different f-stops, you know, from the center out to the corners. You can get that technical detail from their video, which is included in the description down below. All right, that's going to wrap up this video. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch this video. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, watch the videos, like them, comment on them, share them out on social media, and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when new content drops. And I will see you all next time.